Greetings, gamers. Kevin and Kyle here with another Let's Play, and we are continuing our adventure of Doom ports today.
Right.
Today we are trying out the 3DO version of Doom, since I don't know if that's going to be an upgrade or not from the 32X, but we're going to find out soon here. And it seems to be a rushed port from what I understand. I did a little bit of research, and they said that I think it was like one person had it like thrown on their lap, and they're like, hey, get this up and running, and they didn't give her much to work with, I think. So we're going to see what a rushed port looks like, because the 32X, our theory was that was rushed too, so that's why I thought it'd be a good competition to do these rush ports, or proclaimed rush ports.
Yeah, she was asking for the source code, and they just gave her the DOS version of Doom, like
they're like, here you go,
the executable file, yeah. And they expected her to like
figure it out,
to program the whole thing.
Yeah, that poor lady, man, she really had to work it out for her. So we'll keep that in mind while we give it a whirl here, see if we can last.
Yeah.
Can't remember, did you start off last time or?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll just switch it up just so we get a variety, because we're always trying these different levels.
Yeah, the second level's great.
No, let's get started. We'll keep it consistent, and I'll start with Ultraviolence and level 1, and let's see what looks different, or better or worse.
The menus are really fancy, I must say.
Yeah, no, it's nicer in the 32X one so far. I already went to set up the controls. It's B for run, A for shooting, and C for use or opening doors. Now, since we got the 3DO, we got bumpers on the top and left for strafing, so that's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta say, leaving it on speed, like I left on run, it kind of like goes back and forth with not much precision. So it's almost like you don't want to run if you want to aim at stuff and shoot, so don't hold run, it looks like so far. Weird. My goodness. And you know what, I would have been slaughtered on the 32X by now. Everybody seems to be pretty delayed on their fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the 32X one, since they didn't actually show them at all angles, the monsters, they're just facing you. Do you think that might have been why they just immediately are shooting, because they're always facing you?
I was just going to say that, because they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And especially in this version, they're just lumbering around.
Yeah, they're kind of just walking aimlessly like zombies.
Like zombies. But it's almost like to the point, like the max.
Yeah.
Which we were laughing about when we tested it for a second. So yeah, totally. But I already like the look of this a lot better.
I will say this one, the frame rate is rough. Look at this guy. He's like right in my grill, and he's not even shooting at me still.
Just chilling.
Now, I'm trying to compare. We'd probably have to look at our video before this one. Look at the border around it. This is at maximum size I have it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is a cheat code you can put in to make it full screen, but considering how choppy it is at this, I didn't want to bother with that. So we're just going to try it as a stock feel, like it just popped in the game without cheats or anything.
And they were supposed to, the reason that they did that, I guess, is because they were supposed to come out with a better version of the 3DO.
Really?
That could support a full screen.
Oh.
So it's like an add-on type thing.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we know that didn't happen.
Yeah, which never ended up happening.
Well, look at these guys. I'm just going to stand here and wait till somebody actually shoots at me.
That's amazing. And that's on Ultraviolence, too.
Yeah, this is Ultraviolence. Look, this guy's
God.
like following me. Come on.
It's amazing.
He's not even going to... Hey, I'm over here.
That's really crazy.
He's got the wall.
Jeez.
Hey, is this guy going to hit us today?
Wow.
One hit. It's going to be right up. Oh, finally got me. Finally.
That was like 30 seconds.
Did you? I mean, I've played a lot of versions of Doom. I've never seen that delay.
That's
especially
great.
A shotgun guy. He would have slaughtered me.
It's great
by
you
now.
got that on tape.
Yeah,
though.
that's hilarious. So I think we got better odds of getting farther in this one by the difficulty level. It looks like. Ooh, what's hitting me?
Someone got you though.
Oh, he's right next to me. I didn't even see him.
Oh, okay.
The choppiness is hiding him. So I mean, this is just crazy. And look at those imps. I would have had like 10 fireballs hit me by now.
So it looks like they couldn't do. If you look behind you, you can see where the secret. Keep going to your left. Yeah.
Oh, right
you
there.
can see where the secret is, so they couldn't do like the invisible
No
wall.
transparency wall.
Yeah.
So there's another.
That's one limitation, I would say, at least.
So it looks like it's using the same kind of map set as the 32X, except the bar's brown for some reason. 32X kept it gray, which was more like computer.
Well, as far as the PC goes, what John Romero said, like he would just program it in.
Yeah.
If he wanted it. So if there was like, if you wanted like an invisible wall, you just program it in.
That'd be cool.
I guess because this game was rushed.
Yeah.
He couldn't.
I think
she couldn't like do all that she wanted to, which is a shame.
There we go. At least we got some of that there. It does help. I will say, so far, the music, if you listen to it, is way better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this is like the only version that's got this type of music, right? It's like live band.
Yeah, it's supposedly people at 3DO, maybe even the CEO or one of them, the top people there had a garage band and they just recorded it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, for a garage band, they got my vote. This sounds like some awesome renditions of Doom.
No, I would say this is much better. This is a way better programming job than the 32X, in my opinion.
Why is that?
It just
wait till you play it.
It moves smoother to me.
You think this moves smoother?
Yeah.
This feels like molasses to me. The frame rate.
Are you running though?
No, not yet. Because when I run,
that's why.
It's more rigid. I mean, well,
so
you'll see when I give it to you, buddy.
But the way that it feels and the way it looks are two different things, I would say. But it's not making me like seasick.
Yeah, because the 32X and Kyle didn't mix too well.
Yeah, because I actually threw up after that video.
Yeah, we tried to do this one the last chance we had, and this one got canceled due to a instant vomit fest, which I'm sure you'll see soon.
And I've only been seasick one other time in my life, so it's really bizarre.
Yeah, that's crazy that that game could give you seasickness. So this will be the test. Does this one make you puke or not?
Yeah, I can already tell it's not as bad. It's just the way that it moves is smoother.
I don't know, this is pretty sluggish.
Now, the way the character feels.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
So let's see what you think about that feel, but I don't know, overall, I just couldn't, care for the sluggishness, it seems like. But I like the controller better, obviously, in the Sega Genesis, because you got the bumpers on top.
Yep.
Like a Super Nintendo controller feel. Fortunately, you only got the 3 buttons across, so like Sega. But I'd recommend don't hold run while you're shooting at things, because it really throws off when you're turning left and right. And actually, I didn't even know how to change weapons. I was hitting all the buttons, I don't even know how to change that.
So I pressed C.
And then maybe hit one of the bumpers if you hold a button in.
Yeah, I don't know how to go
I wasn't
back.
even paying attention on how to change that one.
Let's see. I guess you change weapons.
There you go. Did it again. Well, that's the select. I think you were holding one of the bumpers in or something when you changed it. I'm pretty sure you hold one of the buttons and it's the left and right bumpers on top to switch through them. But you have to hold one of the buttons.
Oh yeah, you're right.
There you go.
Weird.
Yeah, that's another oddball one then for switching weapons.
Bizarre. So the run is B?
Yeah, hold run and then A to shoot and then C to open.
Okay.
So it's basically the 2 on the side. Cool. Similar to 32X. Hey, this one's actually attacking.
Yeah.
Might be challenging as we get farther.
We'll see. Yeah, see how they chose to do it.
But I wonder if there was like a limitation on how they programmed the AI to fight, because I don't know how long the AI would just walk aimlessly until they actually shot at you. And all the versions I've played, they've been pretty aggressive in my opinion. So that'll be a good question. I wonder if that lady'd ever check this video out and let us know why is the AI like this?
And she'd probably say because they didn't give enough time.
Well, I can understand that, that's for sure. I mean, it's one thing to port something, it's another to port it in like a week or whatever that crazy time contingency was.
Because in an ideal world, you would want like a year.
Oh, if you want to, perfect it or something,
You know.
I'm sure. At least 6 months, I'm sure, if you had a team.
I think the controls are nice on this, and
So far, this is winning you over from the 32X version.
oh yeah.
Kyle's going for the 3DO, so we are getting up higher. It's getting better as we try these different ports. Yeah, I will say, the look, what really bothered me about the 32X was the monsters weren't fully, see all the angles of them while walking around. I don't want to say 3D because they're technically not 3D. They're not 3D. They're like 2.5D, I think they call it. But regardless, but that adds another challenge factor to where I think it's safe to say the 32X version is probably one of the most difficult versions then, because they're always facing and shooting at you.
It's hard.
I mean, we got I'd say slaughtered in that one.
It's hard
compared to
as
other
hell,
ports I've
dude.
played. 32X one really taught me a lesson.
No, it's totally hard.
I mean, it's a bad mixture because you got more difficult monsters always shooting, and the controls are worse in my opinion. So you really got 2 strikes against you. So it's kind of braggable if you can sit down and actually beat on Ultra Violence, the 32X one.
We have to do a computer version because I want people to see like how we really play this game.
We'll graduate to that. We got to work from our ground up.
This
here.
is like
this is bitey.
People probably think like, what the hell? These guys are terrible.
And just so you guys know, we are capturing this correctly. This is just as slow as the frame rate is. Doesn't that feel really sluggish? How it's moving?
Yeah, and if you do run, it's like over. You feel like you go over the.
Yeah, you're like skipping frames or something.
Yeah, like it's too fast almost.
Yeah.
But so you have to like twitch it. It's almost like.
It's like mastering bad controls and frames.
This was definitely meant for like a mouse type, especially
or
now.
analog sticks.
As far as like a PC goes, it's hard to make a game with a controller that. And I know Jeff prefers playing Doom with a controller, but.
Well, he's not using a D-pad. He's using like analog sticks.
But I still I'm all keyboard in this game.
Yeah, it definitely does make a world difference, and that's why I think it'll be cool. I want to say the Xbox One, they're talking about cross-platforming, so then people can play a game on the PC against people on an Xbox One. So then those two platforms, so then when you got those guys are like, oh yeah, I could be way better at you at this game if I had my keyboard. And then those arguments can finally get, settled. They can one be on a computer and one be on their Xbox, fight each other. It'd be an interesting perspective if that works out. But this definitely all looks like the same map as the 32X, I'd say. I'm not seeing any graphical differences like this is better in any way.
Yeah, both are different from the PC. There's slight differences in the first and the second map.
I'd say more than slight. I'd almost say dramatic, considering. Well, I'd say
it's pretty dramatic.
Graphic-wise, it's dramatic, but the structure's still about the same.
Yeah.
So it's whatever you want to call it.
So what I was saying, the structure, it's dramatic. Like all the texture, the graphic textures are gone.
That's what
it's stripped down.
Yeah, no, the graphics are gone.
Where it's different, like this part. In the computer, it's raised up, and there's the armor's right there.
Yeah, and I think a light's shining in there or something.
Yeah.
That's just pitch black in here.
And then you can go in here in this version, and the armor's over here.
So it's not as consistent.
They changed that. I'm not sure why. Maybe because the light. Maybe there's a lighting.
It seems like they had a pre-made simplified version of Doom that they were handing out for ports, because this is pretty consistent to the 32X. Other than the bar on the bottom, the menu bar is a little bit different. I don't know, which do you think has got a bigger box, the 32X or this? For the viewing box.
They're both
See the big
small.
border?
What do you think, 32X, maybe a little bigger?
Maybe the 32X, maybe even, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick the 32X. Just seemed bigger screen
That's
to
what
me.
I was thinking too.
And this is on the maximum without putting in the cheat code, obviously. So
now, if you put the cheat code, is it super duper sluggish?
Yeah, I saw a video of somebody who did it, and it seemed even more sluggish to me. And I did already sample before we played to test it out. You can shrink it down, and it does obviously speed it up, but you're squinting. You can't really see what you're doing. But it does help the frame rate a bit. But regardless, I don't know. This is just...
This game is really easy though.
It's way too easy. I mean,
that's the one thing.
You're never getting attacked, really.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody's just like a dummy. Look at him; he just walked away from you.
Yeah,
he's not even after you.
That would never happen, especially
Where'd he go?
Especially with.
There he goes. He's running away from you. It's almost like, what? See, what I'm gonna try on my turn? I'm gonna walk through the level, just get the keys. Don't even kill anything.
Right.
Just walk past everybody. Hey, how's it going? It's like in the mall. You're just walking around.
You could though.
It looks like you could
really
just walk through this level.
And if you play Brutal Doom, they don't give you a second to
no. They're all about testing rifle. Look at these guys. Are they ever gonna shoot at you? It's just pistols.
You could almost run around with a chainsaw and saw everybody.
Maybe that's what you could recommend this version for. If you guys love using the chainsaw, you could probably get away with it in this one.
Yeah.
Just chainsaw everybody and not lose much health. Well, I still got that. Did they have the thing behind you that you're saying was different in the 32 and that? Can you turn around?
Let's see.
How's that look? Yeah, it's kind of got... Yeah, it's hard to tell.
This part, there was a pool in the middle.
Yeah.
And... See, the secret was there still. I think this was actually, you didn't have to open it, though. It was open, by itself.
Yeah.
Before I even... Because in the PC you have to shoot it. That's a secret.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just there. It was
Yeah, this was just wide open. Usually, normally you'd have to shoot that wall to trigger it. So
let's see what we can do with the chainsaw without getting hit.
I think you'll be pretty good.
This will be the test. Beat 3DO with a chainsaw.
No, real challenge. Beat 32X with a chainsaw.
Oh my god.
You're just done.
You're so right though, because there's nowhere else for them to turn, so they
just face at you. So what else are they? And I bet you they're programmed that once they line up and face you is when they fire at you. See, they're trying to keep wavering back and forth. It looks like they're trying to get a line of sight on you. If they never get that line of sight, then they don't fire.
It almost looks like they gave them a free roaming capability in the programming, but it's almost too much.
Too much freedom and not enough aggression or whatever.
Yeah, they needed the...
And we got some backpack fun.
But again, it has to do with the lack of playtesting and the rush.
Oh, definitely.
Of Doom madness at the time.
I mean, if it was like a week or whatever, the lady had to program this by herself. I'd say it's braggable you got it done in that short period of time alone, and then it's actually functioning. I mean, it's a shame this one doesn't get polished. I wonder if, because this is all like retired, if this could have gotten like, say there's a community that really loved the 3DO, that they could like get the source code of this one and polish it and fix it to see how the 3DO could have really optimally ran it would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like break it down, because there's a lot of communities out there that have noticed that they take games that they feel were broken or rushed, and then they'll just find the source code somehow when it gets released, tear it apart, rebuild it, and then it's like a new game. Let everybody download it and try it. But yeah, no,
there's nothing in here.
No, that's where you got the backpack.
I already did that. Okay,
you're all good in here. You're all done.
For some reason
well, it's easy to blank out in this one because it's kind of dark in this part. It's kind of annoying actually with these controls because you're just hitting the wall left and right. Look at him. There you go.
That's the guy, like, when you get 97% kills, you're like...
Yeah, he's just loose.
Like, who is that? Like, how did I not kill everybody? That's the guy. Alright, let's go back to the... Saw these dudes here, so they're going to be just around the
there's
corner.
Usually a lot of guys here, so you think you'd get annihilated right here being shot at, but... one guy scratched you, but that's just from being up close. You should get that. That's pretty much normal.
Yes, we're going to see how far... we're going to see if I can beat this whole level, the rest of the level, on just the chainsaw.
I bet you can. This will now be Chainsaw Challenge 3DO, because it's almost boring with how long you could just sit there with a gun and not be even attacked. And this is Ultra Violence, which you think they'd be more aggressive. But, once again, these are all the questions we have without answers. Ow.
Messed with them a little bit.
And there you go. Nobody's really attacking. Oh, we got a fireball. Ooh, they start fighting each other. Remember in the 32X, that's another thing. You couldn't really... I didn't think you could get them to fight each other.
We haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I don't know what's possible. Maybe somebody...
It's not looking promising.
No. So that's kind of cool. At least you got that mechanic, too, that they'll fight. Well, I wouldn't...
Oh, that wasn't good.
I wouldn't do that to a barrel.
That wasn't a good idea.
Good thing you had plenty of health on that one. And no elevator there.
Still got 100, so yeah, It's so much easier. Jesus.
Yeah, this is not much of a challenge at all, this version.
You can even try to kill yourself and
still didn't succeed. Alright, how long are we going to go with this one? But we got this awesome music.
I love these level designs, though, just the way John Romero did it. Like,
oh, it's a regular master. Hey, this guy's actually shooting at me.
No, it's getting tougher now, huh?
I wonder if they like did, hey, you gotta... Oh, that's... Ooh.
Yeah, if it gets, like, harder... I think that's maybe what it is.
Maybe that's what it is. It's like, oh, let these guys not be so aggressive, because these guys seem way more aggressive in this level now.
The shotgun guys aren't, like...
They're not messing around like the other ones,
right?
Okay, so what do I gotta hold to change this?
So it...
Oof. Change to a gun today. Man, that's slow. Oh, he's kind of putzing around. Well, he almost went and got me. So let's try to change the gun to something that works now.
You got that big old stim pack and the medi pack and that one.
Alright.
Should be alright.
We'll get there.
There's like...
It's just so choppy, I almost feel like I'm going to fall off the edge here.
Yeah, there's like 2 soul spheres in this level.
Yeah, we'll be good. We'll just have to muddle through.
So... So yeah, it seemed like for that little burst of a second, though, they were smart again.
They're out to get you.
That's weird.
I will say I'm much grateful for the bumpers, but so far I'd have to say synopsis is the controller's better, but the frame rate's worse. And the music's better, but the screen shrunk. So I'm not really seeing a big dramatic difference between this or the 32X version, other than this one definitely has more levels.
Yeah, we're definitely just doing this for you
guys, so you don't have to do it.
Because we could be playing like Brutal Doom right now. And
we'll make sure you don't have to do this.
Yeah, but that's what you guys should do. Get Xandronum or Z-Doom and get yourself a Doom wad and get Brutal Doom and just have yourself a good time. Even without Brutal Doom, you don't need it.
Yeah, Vanilla Doom or whatever.
That's fine too, but I played Vanilla Doom for so many years that now it's like I kind of need something fresh.
Well, it's a good way, in my opinion, to so you can appreciate Doom. Try to play it originally the way it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Then after you've beaten it the original way, then have at it and do any variation. Because it's very difficult if you learn like a variation and got used to that, and then went to, watered down original.
Mm-hmm.
It'll kind of spoil you. So didn't want people to get that. It's kind of what happened. Actually, that's kind of what happened to me with Wolfenstein. I believe I played Doom before I played Wolfenstein.
Oh, okay.
So after I played Doom and I went to Wolfenstein, I'm like, why was Wolfenstein so popular? But I mean, that was just because you played something that's similar and it's so much better, I'd say, than Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
But I still chugged through and did it just because of the nostalgia and id and everything else. And I did enjoy the game, but I think I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have if I didn't play Doom before it.
Well, what I noticed about the differences, the biggest ones, like Wolfenstein has no elevators, no stairs.
There's no depth to it. It's all like you're in the same flat room.
Yeah,
it's very easy to get lost in Wolfenstein.
Yeah, and that's kind of where this game spoils you.
Yeah.
Like right there, you can see through that ceiling.
Yeah,
and there's
that's
like a
nice
sky.
Effect.
It's like wonderful.
Ugh, so crowded and choppy.
Yeah, it's choppiness is really bad.
I mean, this is.
And the whole point of Doom, you kind of just want to fly through it, and you want to feel the quickness of. That's why
you're not feeling it here.
That's why the PC is the best, because
that is probably the fastest you're gonna feel.
Super fast, and you can just react to anything
we all know the PC is the best. Our mission here is to find the best port that isn't the PC, because not everybody's got that option.
And you haven't done a PlayStation one yet, have you?
No, I know.
I think that's
I've played that one.
Winner.
Yeah, I've played that one a lot back in the day, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I think it's a safe bet, but I'm gonna play all the ones until I can find one that may be competitive to it as we go on our mission here. Yeah. We'll see how far we get.
I'm thinking this will probably be the one that I would say is below PlayStation right now.
Oh, definitely.
Then 32X.
That's very safe to say.
Of the barrel.
So, really, what we're on a mission for, since we know about better ones, is which one is actually the worst. Because a lot of people argue what the worst is here.
I think 32X. What do most people say?
It's an argument between 32X, Super Nintendo, and this one for sure. And they all got different arguments.
Because what I remember, the Super Nintendo had a really good feel to it. But that's because I actually beat the game all the way through. So it'll be interesting to see now. And I played that when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think our standards have changed a bit after playing so many different variations.
Yeah.
But this is so bobby and actually lightly giving me a headache. For some reason, this one more than the 32X was. The frame rate's just awful.
Graphically, this is a lot better than Super Nintendo, though.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo's so red, just like the cartridge. It's really hard on the eyes. That's where Super Nintendo is the worst port. Super Nintendo looks the worst. It's really smeary. But we'll tackle
there's
that
Spectres
in
this one. It did Spectres.
Yeah, Spectres aren't in 32X.
Yeah, so there's another difference.
Yeah.
I think this one would be solid if they would have fixed up the frame rate and the screen size. This one would have been a pretty decent competitor for a variation or version.
And making it small just
shrinking
sucks.
it down just really you're shrink. It's like somebody shrinked your value meal. I don't I don't want smaller. That's why I never understood about candy. This is fun size. You know what I think's a lot more fun? A bigger candy bar.
Yeah.
Not this.
But
There's nothing fun about
fun
this.
size.
Yeah.
They're trying to trick us.
Yeah, there ain't nothing fun about this. I mean, I guess it's fun if you're dieting, but that's about it. So I guess that's why they went with king size.
Fucking marketing.
Yeah, marketing at its best here. You know what's... Ugh, I'm just chopping on through.
It's tough to, like, enjoy, though.
This is really tough to enjoy.
It's
really kind of killing any fun for me, to say the least.
I think she did a good job with what she had.
Oh, yeah.
So she did a good job, in my opinion, but just the whole...
I want to say...
The whole idea of just porting Doom in general is a bad idea. You know, to me, it's a game that's... Same with Duke 3D. I played those ports, and they just never felt right either.
I will say, if you want perfection, that if you... I mean, in this day and age, I'm trying to look for, like, the best retro ports our mission here.
Yeah.
Like, what would have been the best, hey, back in the 90s when you couldn't afford a computer, didn't have access to one, and all you had were all these gaming systems. What would have been the best? Because there's a lot of people that just want to experience different versions of Doom and kind of be like, hey, this is what it was like if you didn't have a computer back then.
There's a lot of people that didn't have a computer because they were expensive.
Yeah,
I remember
very expensive.
If you wanted a gig, it was over $1,000.
Oh, it was nuts.
So when that 1 gig computer came out, and it was like Windows 95.
Yeah.
It was 1 gig, and it was a huge deal.
Oh, that's a big deal, man.
It was like $1,100 or $1,200.
Because it was like normal to have like 250 megabyte hard drive or something.
Yeah, it had like 16 megs of RAM, and my old Packard Bell had like 4 megs of RAM.
Packard Bell. I think everybody around this area had one of those. Packard Bell. I don't think they're kicking anymore.
4 megs of RAM, and I had to use a boot disk to get Doom to work.
Ugh.
And I ran it off DOS shell. It was awesome.
I'll take a break from the bonus level and skip it. You
Yeah,
can try.
thank
You can try this one. The bonus level when John Romero doesn't recommend it.
Yeah.
He didn't sound like a big fan of it neither.
Yeah.
So straight into this one, and this is where we left off in the 32X version, which you can see that video if you haven't already, and check out how far we got. But spoiler alert, this is as far as we could get on 32X. So our goal is to see if we can get farther than the previous version and go from there.
Alright.
That'll be our goal. Which is going to be hopefully optimistic, but I see, since there's a lot of big rooms in this one, this is going to get way choppier.
There's a huge room on both sides of this corridor.
I don't know what it is about this game, but I don't know if it's because of the time it came from or what, but Doom is a game that just never gets old to me. Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, there's so many games and video games that I love out there, but I can't play them as much as I play Doom. Like, Doom, I mean, there's games out there, like, you can play once a year easily and enjoy them. Doom is, like, one I could play and beat probably once a month almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Even if I just had Knee Deep in the Dead.
Yeah. Just that alone.
And I recall when I was a kid, I would play Knee Deep in the Dead for the PC over and over.
All the time.
Over. And the other episodes were great, but there was something about this episode that, and I think
it's just a masterpiece.
John
really.
Romero had the biggest
impact on it.
On this one. And he's just his brilliance. Like, I mean, he was coding for the Air Force at age 14.
That's insane.
Like, think about that.
That's madness.
Like, he went to a coding class, and the first like few minutes are like, okay, he's like 10 times past where we are right now.
This guy's gonna be teaching the class this week.
Yeah. So it's just kind of one of those things. Like, some people are just masters. I'm trying to remember how to change the weapon.
Oh, hold C and then hit a bumper.
Oh, you have to hit. Oh,
yeah, so you gotta hold C and then just flip through them. But at least you can flip both ways.
Yeah, I just don't want to blow myself.
Yeah.
To bits.
There we go.
Well, that's a secret in the PC. You only get one chance.
Yeah, and it's just like, and
if you don't get up, then it's gone.
This one, they made it easier on you, which is fair enough with this frame rate. I think that would be a robbery. You kind of need it with this frame rate. But other than, I wonder if the aggression is getting better, though, or if that was just a fluke because everybody was right up in my grill in the last level.
It also tells me that they never programmed elevator.
Look at that guy up there. He didn't even activate.
Yeah,
he's just standing.
He's just
standing there.
still.
Yep. He's just like, ugh. Like a lot of things are just kind of hokey in this run. I mean, at least I'll say the 32X is. I mean, everybody activates and they're all after you. That's for sure. So as much as, I mean, you're voting for this one for the 32X, I'm almost leaning towards the 32X the more I see this one.
It looks...
Just from a fun factor.
It looks better, but 32X would play better, I would say.
Yeah, so I mean, it's almost like, what do you want to deal with?
But 32X falls hard.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd want to challenge it, to say at least, and you're definitely going to get it with that one. I don't know about this one so much.
It's pretty easy.
I mean, because keep in mind, we're not even running that much. We're just kind of walking through because the frame rate's so bad. It's kind of hard to run and zip through this one. I mean, you start running and then I don't know, this thing may crash. We'll see. But
cool.
To talk more about the 3DO, this system I always thought was kind of like backwards. Like, they're like, hey, this is the latest new technology we're going to put on CD, but we're going to give you one game port. I'm like, okay, so you're going to TurboGrafx 16 us? That's cool.
Yeah, to me, the only reason they did that was because PC Engine in Japan was a small system. I think it's still in Guinness Book.
Oh, for the smallest?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one powerful little console, man.
So that's why it only had one controller port, and that's why the multi-taps, I guess you call them,
it's so big.
are so common, too, for PC Engine.
Oh, definitely. No, it's definitely recommended, and what I did with my TurboGrafx is I got the multi-tap and an extension cord for the multi-tap, so you don't need a bunch of extension cords for multiple controllers. You just have the multi-tap close to everybody. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the saving grace. And for the NES, I love having a 4-score is what I recommend, because that bad boy's got a nice extension with already your super long NES controllers. You're like talking, you're well over 10 feet of cord when you incorporate a 4-score in there. And that's the 4-player model that you can add for the NES to play a select few of games. I think there's actually more than a few. There's probably about 10 or more. They actually support 4 players for NES. I'll have to do that one day, but we got to dig up some people. It's going to be a mission. But this one, boy, the challenge is just killing you, because every time I look, Kyle's well over 100 health and armor. I mean, is this guy ever going to shoot? There we go. He got hit.
And the weird thing is they have this graphic from Doom 2, and the 32X
so that isn't
did
from
too.
that isn't in the PC one? I thought it was.
It's from Doom 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Then what's normally there in the PC one that you think?
Oh man.
Love to look that one up.
That's just the wall, but I would like to see. Yeah.
We'll have to do some homework on that.
There's a fence here that they don't have, so they can't do the invisible fence program.
It's like those gates or grates or whatever.
Basically,
slashes.
Every change tells you like what they couldn't do, and they had to like work around it.
They either couldn't do it or didn't have time to do it.
Both, yeah.
A little bit of both.
Which is both, yeah. Because they could have done it all if they had time.
Really,
that's the thing.
I would love to have seen full-blown 3DO, the best I could have done. Does this have the swastika?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Looks like it.
Let's check it out of here.
I know that's a censored part of a lot of the newer versions of Doom. Like if you got it on the PS3 collection, that ain't a swastika no more. And I don't know about the Xbox version or the 360 version.
Even if you have like version for
because that's like a nod to Wolfenstein right there.
Yeah, they had one in Commander Keen too.
Yeah,
and it's actually what is this?
It's kind of like of a broken swastika. It's not the full blown one.
Yeah,
see, it's like missing the edges.
But even in the PC version 1.9,
yeah,
they didn't have it. It was, but they flipped 2 of the pieces. So
I gotcha.
It wasn't exactly, but they had it in the early versions.
Yeah,
and people complained.
I was just curious how that one was.
Yeah, that one, it looks like
it's kind of like broken, but it's kind of
a little bit.
You had an idea that it was there.
They basically took this part off.
Yeah,
and that part off.
Yeah, that's all gone.
So yeah.
And another thing that I noticed, maybe because I'm looking at it too much, but it looks like the shotgun looks more pixelated than it did in the 32X, the graphic for the shotgun, holding in your hand. Like, that looks crappier than the 32X.
Maybe a little bit.
I don't know, just
like the sight, or I don't know.
It's like somebody took like a high-def image and then made it a GIF or something. That's what it looks like.
It's probably how they got the images for this. Did you know that for Doom that they actually went to Toys R Us and got like guns, and that's how they took pictures, like the BFG and the plasma and stuff?
Really?
Did you know that? Yeah.
I had no clue. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, are you serious?
These are some awesome toys. I want the toy that the plasma rifle was modeled off of.
Yeah, and a lot of people say it looks like a Nerf gun or like a Super Soaker or something like that. Super Soaker.
But man, other than really the music is the only thing that really stands out about this version. It's like I'd just rip the soundtrack of this and play it on a different port. Because another version that we can try out is the Atari Jaguar version. I gotta dig that system out. I got one in my archives. I don't use it that often, but hopefully it still works.
Yeah, I got one too. If you don't.
So we got but do you have Doom for your Jaguar?
Yeah. I got Doom and Wolfenstein, and I made sure I got those two at the very least.
Nice. It's all about the FPS retros.
And the Alien vs. Predator, but that one's so slow, dude.
Yeah, that one's a little rough.
I can't.
It's like this.
It's like, I can't. People say it's good, but I can't, deal with it. It takes a lot of patience.
I will say Alien vs. Predator was a cool idea, but it wasn't executed as well as it should have been.
It was, it's...
The execution's what killed that one for me.
The thing that I want to use as a segue for this, this game takes so long on these. Like, if we were playing this on PC, this level would
we would have been done a long time ago.
Years ago.
But at least we're getting farther than the 32X, so...
Yeah.
That's almost like a mission. It's like, man, I need to go back and then sit down and see if I can actually run through and beat the 32X version. But here's my problem. It's one of my, I'll say, blocks for gaming, at least at my age now. As a kid, I would just get so hell-bent. I would just deal with the bad controls and master them. But nowadays, it's like, if the controls are not good, I'm just not into the game, you know what I mean? If the controls are that broken or bad.
Yeah, it's almost like because we only had those few choices.
Yeah.
We didn't have a whole plethora of games to choose
Nowadays
from.
you can just light it up and be like, hey, I'm gonna just find a better port, look it up on
you got
the
better
internet.
Options, So
And
you were stuck, so you were forced to conform.
Yep. They had no choice in that one.
Right.
And so we're actually getting to a level on this one.
This level's amazing. Everyone this is everyone's favorite level.
This is definitely my favorite level.
It's funny how, this level is to me what a masterpiece map is.
I mean, it's just done perfectly. There's your Spectre.
And the PC version, of course, is what we're most talking about. This is all stripped down.
Way stripped down.
But people who play consoles, at least they could play Doom. Now these doors, that wasn't like this. That's more of an episode 2 or episode 3. More of a hellish with the lion.
They would have had more like a metal science-y door or lab door or something.
Yeah. For this
and the funny thing is, this is called Phobos Lab, so shouldn't it look more like a lab?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Not like a castle.
Why they decided? Yeah, it has a gothic look instead.
Yeah, it's got that's like a drawbridge look or something.
Which is awesome, but
no, it's great
for that.
It's not fitting for this level.
No.
Ooh, there's an Spectre.
Sergeant.
Yeah, right up in my grill. I'm surprised they actually shot.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something, if it's just the first couple levels, they're less aggressive, and as you get, because they seem to be shooting more, or maybe just something changed, I don't know.
I don't know, but this game makes you lazy, because you're like, he won't shoot me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, he ain't gonna shoot.
Fuck it.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. Oh man, this is still getting through. They did a good rendition of the music.
I would say that band was pretty good.
They could be like a Doom cover band.
It's that's pretty
That'd be
great,
awesome.
Though.
I'd go see them.
We need one in the world.
Rocking out all the Doom songs.
That'd be fantastic. They definitely have a following.
Oh yeah.
Especially since a lot of those songs are Slayer and Pantera and Alice in Chains.
Pretty much. Man, this is getting real bad. 32X is like butter compared to this. As smooth as butter than this.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I guess shows the power of the 32X actually.
Yeah, another problem with 32X is a lot of developers didn't care to give it the time of day because they knew that console was kind of destined to fail because the Saturn's coming out.
To me, that happened with the GameCube, and it happened with the N64 even.
Yeah, but it turned off developers because of the format and the limitations that they went with.
And they'll like take the lifespan of like the NES.
Oh, beautiful system.
Take that like
Famicom NES.
all the way from the mid '80s all the way to the mid '90s. Like very few systems got that much time. Where
Did you know they were still selling Famicoms new in the box till like '97 in Japan?
It's amazing.
Oh, that's just awesome.
That's beautiful.
Which is good for us because then they won't be so rare if you want to buy one.
Like I just got one today. It was eBay for $8 and $7 shipping, and it works. The only thing that was missing the dust tray on top.
That's awesome for a good backup. So then you got a way to play your games.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put it in my room and just play it like before I go to bed or something.
That's the best way to do it. That used to be a tradition of mine back in college. I'd always play some Punch-Out before I went to bed. Couldn't go to bed until I beat Tyson.
Yeah, so you're the Punch-Out mastermind.
Yeah, I just wish my old thumbs would keep up. Look at this
aiming
aiming here.
That's weird.
It's not.
You should have hit him. Right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot. Look, it can't even grab it. Oh, there we go. On the 10th shot, after I shoot all my ammo.
I kind of noticed that. Just
this is off.
playing that it's.
See, you know it'd be terrible if like this is
intuitive.
somebody's first impression of Doom is this game. They'd never play it again.
That's the other thing.
You're like, Doom's terrible. I'm like, this guy don't know what he's talking about. Oh, I played 3DO Doom. Never mind. Carry on, sir.
This whole level, the textures are very different.
Ugh.
It's more like an Egyptian like tomb look.
Yeah, it's
Brick and instead of like
brick and mortar.
The spacey.
Well, that activated. Everybody's gonna walk out maybe and activate.
At least there's a soul sphere outside. What I always do, I always run outside and snipe all those fuckers.
Man, this is just something fierce for the frame rate. Whoever did a long play of this deserves a medal.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
grueling.
don't know how long I'm gonna be lasting on this one.
No, it's tough.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and I just kind of fell into that because of the frame rate. There we go. Third tries a charm. That's the rule of thumb on this one.
Here come the guys.
Hey, what the heck's hitting me? Something's hitting me. Okay, now it's getting a little crowded. A little crowded. Look at how choppy and slower it's getting because all these guys. There we go. Ugh. Everything just feels like it's forced. Mm-hmm. Hey, they have the radiation suit.
Yeah, it's not fluid. It needs some WD-40, man.
Definitely a lot of WD on this one.
Jesus.
Is there a... I can't remember. Did they have the radiation suit in the 32X? Or we didn't get a point to see if they had one?
No, we didn't get there.
Man.
We didn't get past the last level.
Yeah. At least we get to see a favorite level. So out of the whole episode, this is your favorite too, then?
No, yeah.
Hands down this one.
Yeah.
So what would be your second pick?
Music-wise, too.
Oh yeah, music's awesome.
My second pick is the second level.
Right on the same page.
Nuclear plant. And then command control is awesome.
Is that
This last
7?
level. Actually, the what's level 3?
Level 3's with bridge. The secret bridge you gotta activate.
Yeah, you know what the name is.
Oh, isn't that like refinery?
Yeah, that's another one. Command control, which is 4, which one we just played.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of 4. I like 7 a lot. That's I can't remember the name though, surprisingly, of the one that I like.
There's the central processing, and then there's I would say every single map in the first episode is like what it's all about for me.
Definitely.
But if I had to say favorites, like 2 through 7, basically.
1 is pretty cool. It's just super short, but
Yeah.
it's a great intro level though to get you going for the game.
And eight's almost just like an outro level. It's very short,
Yeah.
but it's just meant to set up like. And people are always like, well, why do you die at the very end? But I always thought it was cool because you have to go to hell now.
Oh yeah.
So you gotta die to go to hell.
Yeah, that going for you.
You're still alive. So that's kind of cool. Then you find yourself in hell with no weapons, of course.
Yeah, because you're in hell.
Yeah, the
Hell
whole
ain't gonna help you.
the whole teleporter thing too. It's like Terminator. Like you always go naked. Like you can't bring like
That's right.
an object.
Time travel. No, nothing going with you.
So
Ugh.
it makes
There we
sense.
go. I mean, it's just crazy that what the 32X I don't think had Spectres. And I want to say 32X could have probably done a lot better if they had the time for it. That was another rush one because they wanted some launch titles. You know, 32X only launched with like 4 games. They kept saying it's going to launch with 12, but they only got 4 out in time. And another thing that I didn't realize when I was reading about it a bit, it said the 32X was released in North America at the same time the Sega Saturn came out in Japan. So if you know this is coming out in Japan, you know soon you're going to get it in North America. So the 32X is basically just a sham. But since the internet wasn't as predominant as it is now, and I was a dumb kid, that's why I had my 32X.
Screwed.
But in the defense of that system, there are some hidden gems, I'd say. Like, they aren't fantastic, but they're definitely good games that are worth a play if you have a chance, like Knuckles Chaotix. And if you're into shmups, they got that Calibri game where you're like a hummingbird. You gotta shoot insects around flowers. It's crazy.
I've never played that.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
It's a shoot 'em up game, so we'd have to get that one set up for the future. But it's definitely interesting to say the least, the stuff it's got to offer. But it's definitely not a way. Let's put it this way: the Virtual Boy was a commercial failure, but I rather play the 32X games than the Virtual Boy games.
Yeah.
That and I'd actually keep my eyesight from playing them.
Virtual Boy is the worst.
Oh. So yeah, now pretty much anything that's like melee or close, they're gonna get you. It just seems like the guys that shoot don't seem to go after you too much.
Plus, instead, if you want to go to chainsaw on the computer, you just press 1.
Yeah, that's another disadvantage
Instead
of
of you gotta like
consoles.
hold this thing and be like.
Consoles rotating through the guns really do affect how much of a impact the gameplay is. Now, I never was a big fan of 6.
This is a bigger level.
This one's kind of big. It's kind of cool that it's got like that big section of like fighting in it, but it's got some really kicking music. Man.
Oh, tunes.
Good tunes.
It's a pretty cool guitar. So slow, even the chain gun.
Yeah, it sounds like the same speed rate as the pistol. This is just punishing to almost get through. But we can still get through. Oh shoot, we get a little bitey on that one.
1 health.
He's like cutting it close.
We can still get through.
We can still get through.
Down to 1 health.
We'll be fine.
Oh, that's funny.
Now another advantage to the 3DO over the 32X, if you want to get technical, is the 3DO I believe saves your progress. 32X is just a one taker. Granted, you can warp straight to a level. You got that level select. Oh look, you don't even have that room. They just put the key there.
Weird.
So that's completely cut out. That's gone.
Yeah, because I think they had like a trap door.
Yeah, there's a big trap door and a whole bunch of
So
guys would be around you.
They couldn't program
The
that.
3DO would have threw up.
Yep.
So they're like, oh, just put a key there. Just have it sitting there.
Let's see what's
They didn't even like put a box around it or anything. It's just laying there and triggered 2 demons.
Weird.
Tricky stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so much missing. Sad. Sad tale.
There we go.
Mud world, mud sausage here.
Pretty much.
Eat up. Mud, it's what's for dinner, man.
This is rough. Don't worry. If there's anybody behind you, they won't attack you. So pretty much out of all this, we can agree the best quality is music.
Oh yeah.
That's about it, though.
Hell yeah.
Is there anything that's just standing out that's good about this version? Other than that, I can't really see it.
The menus are nice.
Menu's nice. What a beautiful menu. Hey, here's an advantage that it tells you. They got a little box that tells you what level you're on.
That's nice.
You got that going for you.
Got that going. Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
the keys are really big, so you know which one you got. That's way bigger than computer key.
You just gotta choke down the mud, really.
It's yeah, I don't know why it's so brown.
And the brown is such an ugly color.
It's just brown on brown. It's really just the 3DO turd here. And takes you back to the beginning. See, in no time, you went from 1% to 159. And you're not really killing yourself trying. You're just kind of going through the motions, it looks like.
Just hanging out.
Now, in our foray and adventure that we'll go through with all these ports, I was researching. You'll never guess which port do you think is the most accurate to the PC version?
I would think PlayStation, I would say.
Nope.
What is the answer?
Super Nintendo.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that crazy?
That is weird.
The most low-powered system out of all of them that's got the port is the most PC accurate. And when I say PC accurate, I'm talking like the level design,
Yeah.
the layout, how many levels are available. Because here's a funny thing for you. The Super Nintendo one, from what I read, I haven't seen it. I'd love to see it. We'll probably get to it one of these days. Has a brain mastermind,
Spider Master.
Spider Mastermind, and a Cyber Demon. This doesn't. And this is a way more sophisticated machine.
What is this is just the... I think she said it's just the Barons.
Yeah, it's just Barons, I think. That's it. Cacodemons and Barons. That's about all you got.
They got Cax in here?
Yeah, just Cacodemons and Barons.
They got Cax in here.
But I think that's hilarious that it's got more levels that are more accurate to the PC on a Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, I guess PlayStation wouldn't be because it has Club Doom. And Club Doom's like a special.
Well, that was
PlayStation
for Doom 2 if you're comparing that. I was going just off Doom 1 because there's no Doom 2 on Super Nintendo.
Is there a Doom 2 on PlayStation?
Yeah, it's PlayStation's really
combined,
awesome because
it?
it's all combined in
That's
one.
what
so
it
that's
is.
that's what's really sweet
That's
about it.
what it
You
is.
just
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see more of those when we actually get to PlayStation 1, but that one's got a lot of differences. Like, it's got color lights, only that version, I believe. Like, you got red light rooms, green light rooms.
It's really nice.
That's why they did, like, that Club Doom. They could make it look like a club because it's got color lighting.
Yeah.
Even the PC version doesn't have color lighting. It wasn't designed that way.
Yeah, that was
So
one I
between
definitely
that
played.
and it had, instead of music, it had ambient noises, which
Yeah.
I don't mind. I mean, it's cool, but I do like the music. I think to really make the PlayStation 1 perfect, when we get to look at that one, if I remember correctly, because I played it a lot back in the day, even though I had the PC, I just like to change the pace. You know, it's kind of fun to play on a controller.
Sure.
I mean, just because maybe you're in your room, you don't want to like sit down at a computer and keyboard because it feels like you're at work. You know, you just want to sit back at the controller. It's fun to have a port of Doom, that's for sure. But we'll be comparing that. But since we know the PlayStation 1's pretty good, and I think it's going to be a safe bet that one might win the contest, but I just want to work our way to it and see how these other ones fare because, like I said, there may be people out there that are like, hey, you know what? I've beaten the PlayStation 1 to death. What's the next best one to try out? You know what I mean? That's on a console. Mm-hmm. Now, I also had Doom on my Game Boy Advance in college. And that was like the mobile Doom solution.
I've never seen that. Was it pretty good?
Oh, it's pretty darn accurate to the PC version.
Because Game Boy Advance is more like, I think you can play like PC Engine stuff. Jeff had his hacked
Oh, yeah.
to play like every PC Engine game.
Yeah,
Something.
the Game Boy Advance is a pretty powerful piece of hardware. These guys aren't even moving.
Weird, like they were stuck together.
Well, you got your suit.
I'm gonna go behind that wall and see what's going on.
Does it even do that?
You have to open it up later, and I didn't do it yet.
Yeah, not open.
It's more. It's in here somewhere. There's still like some stuff I gotta do in here.
So are your eyes adjusting the speed of this Doom? It's fine with you?
choppy. Nothing else. I think PlayStation it is. I think PlayStation feels the best.
Keeps up the frame rate the best.
Right, I guess I hit it already.
I
And
get that one.
and like Super Nintendo, Super Nintendo's just hard on my eyes.
Yeah, that'll be the next challenge. Can't wait to see to compare that one.
But I definitely have a complete boxed Doom for SNES, just because I'm such a Doom freak.
It's awesome to have anything boxed for Doom.
Really?
Actually, I was looking
Yeah.
the other day. Do you have a 32X box Doom?
I have two 32X loose cards. I kept finding them.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not
Because
boxed.
I was looking on eBay, I think today,
How much is it worth?
and a sealed Doom 32X was going for like $20. Sealed.
Awesome.
So I'm like, you know what? I might as well be picking that up now, just for the decorative coolness of the box,
Wow.
really.
And you picked it up, right?
I didn't pick it up yet because I was looking around because I was almost like suspicious it was so cheap.
It is weird.
I wanted to compare to make sure it wasn't like a remake or something.
Yeah.
Because you think in this day and age, but if you think about it, how many people are out there collecting for the 32X that hardcore? I think that's a smaller market, really.
It's way smaller.
There's so much hate around it.
But it's going up in value, though.
Yeah,
Which
the
is funny.
unit is because they only made about 600,000 tops, I think.
Wow, that ain't shit.
I mean, that many
Comparatively.
units back in '94. We're talking about Nintendo made like what, 69 million units. I mean, that's why you're still finding Nintendos for reasonable prices. And I mean, when you compare that to what, 600,000 units of something, those are eventually going to get pretty rare. So that's why when we went adventuring for some stuff, I needed to get a backup 32X because I mean, I don't want to be paying out the nose later down the road if I don't have to.
I think it's cool that both the boxes are slightly different, too.
Yeah, I know, and they had that in their mouth. Do you have a 32X at all?
No, I've picked up a few games if I find them for $1. Just
Okay.
because I figured if I ever find 32X.
Oh yeah,
I'd
no,
pick it up.
eventually. Yeah, you can. It's like online, it's very expensive, but if you find in person, like at pawn shops or whatever, they're still very reasonably priced. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like, oh, nobody's going to be walking in the store wanting one of these, so they're marked pretty low.
And you have to have the right cable hooked
Yeah,
up.
they got a lot of crazy cables for that thing too, which
cur-
doesn't help.
That's the thing. The people just getting into that. That's why it's so important to like do your homework. Because people just buy it now and like figure it'll work.
Hope for the best.
You're essentially like spending more money in the long run. Then you have to get that individual cord later instead
Yep.
of getting it in a bulk lot. And all that yada yada.
Now the funny part is, Doom for Super Nintendo, I'm guessing wasn't rushed because that one couldn't be probably to pull that off.
And Midway, right?
Yeah, Midway, and
They programmed that?
yeah, I think they ported that one for them, so they
Interesting.
did an excellent job. Which one was actually a straight port from id? Was that? I can't remember.
Was there one?
I want to say one of them was ported by them. I can't remember which one it was. One of the ports.
I already went.
I'll have to do some homework on that one, but either way, it's interesting comparing who did the ports for what.
Yeah, and I think when you were saying with PlayStation had the ambient, I think it's kind of like the Doom 64 had that ambient thing too.
Yeah, they use the same sound effects that were added. I don't know where all those sound effects just came from. They just decided to.
Ambient's pretty easy to make. I've made a lot just with my band that I mess with. Like,
Yeah.
it's really easy. You can do anything.
It's just cool that they did an ambient that I feel fit the tone and everything.
It's creepy,
It's very
like dark.
It's very fitting, really. I mean,
Yeah, which
if you
like
weren't to
a
have
lot.
if you weren't to have music in Doom, the next best thing was that ambient they wrote. You know
I always thought it was cool because it was something different, because
it's a nice perspective because some people are like, okay, when you're playing cool music like this, it's got more of an arcade feel to it. But if you want more of a realistic, solitary feel of you're alone with these demons, you let the ambient one ride. Like put on a headset, turn out all the lights, just sit there, and then you get in the zone. I mean, even though I've played this a million times, if I set myself up in the right situation, you could get yourself some jump scares out of there maybe.
chills, get
You're
the
like,
right
"Oh,"
mood going.
Yeah, get the right thing that you get enough of a rush, you're running around. But I think that's probably more for deathmatch nowadays because you can predict the monsters pretty well. And that's another option. This version does not support multiplayer, just like 32X didn't either. Did you know the Super Nintendo supported multiplayer?
That's amazing.
Yes, it was that far of multiplayer. You had to use the X band.
Oh god, I did it again.
Nice.
I'm killing myself with the barrels.
Pretty much the most lethal thing in this game is not the monsters, it's the barrels.
Yourself in the barrels, yes.
But that X-band modem or whatever, people would actually play Doom against each other.
You had to have a modem. I was wondering like how you do it.
Yeah, for Super Nintendo, use the X-band, and they said it worked. They said the major differences was, I haven't seen a video of it, but from what I read, it said in the deathmatch, the guy didn't die, they just disappeared when you killed the other person. They just disappeared off the screen. Huh. And the levels were totally stripped down, and none of the weapons or things would respawn. You get one take.
Oh, wow.
So it's like almost playing completely different deathmatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's... I kind of like where you have all the weapons, and then it's up to your skill, like...
It's not like who gets to it first.
Yeah. I don't like that.
It's almost like a factor of luck, you know. You want more skill than luck when you're doing something.
And knowing the level.
Oh boy,
more, yeah.
Here's some luck you're going to need to get through that, right?
This was probably the hardest part in episode 1.
Oof.
I would say.
Yeah, I always just did what you did because only one guy could really get into you at one at a time. If you're in the middle of all that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, normally...
Because you really don't have a powerful enough gun to handle this, right?
And normally I would have my chain gun, but...
Yeah.
But my strategies are all whacked out with this because I can't even make a strategy. It's just...
Strategy is just survive and try to point with this controller and these frame rates.
It's completely like weird to me. But it's still cool because Doom, so. It just feels so wonky.
Wow. Well, that ain't looking promising.
I shouldn't have done that.
Look at the face.
That was cool. It was like
that's kind of cool. I never
like
seen that.
Hitler's head in Bionic Commando.
Yeah. Well, I'd say on that note, one death, we're done.
But also like 5 of them.
Yeah, all those specters and that.
But stay in the corner, people.
This version is not recommended. So far, we're still going to continue our journey for a better port, but 32X or 3DO, what's your vote, Kyle?
Ooh, 3DO music and menus, 32X speed and feel.
But I'm going to go up to you and say you can only pick one as of right now.
Well, 32X made me throw up, so.
He's going 3DO. I'm picking 32X still because this frame rate's killing me. So we got to find one we both agree on is better.
Cool.
So, till next time, guys, maybe give us some suggestions of other ports that you know, and we'll try them out, and soon we'll have another because we're just guilty. I mean, we're gluttons for punishment.
Oh, yeah.
So, talk to you next time. Take it easy.
Yeah.